I thought cheating would make me feel alive again. Instead, I lost my marriage, my children's respect, and every person who ever loved me. I cheated. And I knew exactly what I was doing. I'm not here for sympathy. I'm not here to explain it away or make you understand. I'm here because maybe, just maybe, if I put this nightmare into words, someone out there won't make the same mistake I did. Someone will read this and stop before they cross that line. But I didn't stop. I walked right over it, smiled, and convinced myself I deserved it. I'm standing in my bathroom right now, hands shaking so badly I can barely hold my phone. It's 2 a.m. My husband, no, my ex-husband now, I guess, just left 20 minutes ago. He took our kids. He took the diaper bag, the stuffed elephant our daughter can't sleep without, and the overnight bags I didn't even know he'd packed. He didn't yell. That's what's killing me. He didn't scream or throw things or call me names. He just looked at me like I was a stranger, said I'm taking the kids, and walked out. The front door closing was the loudest sound I've ever heard. Let me back up. You need to understand how someone like me, someone who thought she was smarter than this, ended up here. 8 years. That's how long David and I were together. Married for 6. 2 kids, a boy who just turned 7 and a girl who's 4. We had the house in the suburbs, the minivan, the matching coffee mugs. From the outside, we looked perfect. From the inside? I was bored out of my mind. God, that sounds so pathetic now. But it's true. David was stable. Predictable. He went to work, came home, helped with dinner, watched TV, went to bed. Weekends were grocery shopping and kids' activities. Date nights became once a month, then once every 2 months, then basically never. I'm not saying he was a bad husband. That's the thing. He wasn't. He never hit me, never screamed at me, never cheated. He was just there. Like a piece of furniture I'd stopped noticing. And I started to feel invisible. It started small. My friend Jessica would post these photos on Instagram, her and her boyfriend at wine bars, at concerts, on spontaneous weekend trips. She'd caption them with things like living my best life and never settle. We'd been friends since college and she'd never liked David. Said I'd settled too young, that I'd given up my 20s for a mortgage and sippy cups. At first, I'd roll my eyes. But then I'd look at my own photos. Kids at the park. Kids at birthday parties. A blurry selfie from 3 months ago where I'm not even smiling, just documenting that I existed that day. When did I stop being a person and become just mom? The other moms at school pickup would talk about their husbands like they were roommates. Oh, mine too, he just sits on his phone all night. We'd laugh about it, but underneath, I'd think, is this it? Is this all there is for the next 30 years? I turned 32 in March. David got me a card and a gift certificate to the spa I never had time to use. He meant well. But I remember sitting on the edge of our bed that night, after the kids were asleep, looking at that generic happy birthday card and thinking, I'm disappearing. That's when Marcus happened. No, that's not fair. That makes it sound like he just appeared. Like I had no choice. I had every choice. I made every single one. Marcus was the new hire at work. Marketing department. 28, confident in that way guys who've never had their ego beaten down yet are confident. He noticed me. Not as someone's wife or someone's mom. As me. The first time he complimented me, it was my presentation in a team meeting. That was brilliant, he'd said afterward, leaning against my desk. You really know your stuff. David hadn't complimented my work in years. He didn't really ask about it anymore. Then it was my outfit. Then my hair. Then he started eating lunch at my desk, and we'd talk about movies and music and all these things I'd forgotten I cared about. He made me laugh. He listened when I talked. He looked at me like I was interesting. I told myself it was harmless. Just a work friendship. Everyone needs friends, right? But I started putting on makeup with more care. Started buying clothes that weren't just mom clothes. Started checking my phone constantly to see if he'd messaged. David noticed. You seem happier lately, he said one night, smiling at me over the dishes. I smiled back. And I hated myself for how easy the lie felt. Jessica knew something was up. We met for coffee one Saturday while David had the kids. I told her about Marcus. Not everything. Just that there was this guy at work who made me feel seen again. She didn't judge me. She leaned in and said, You deserve to feel alive, Sarah. You're allowed to be happy. That phrase got stuck in my head. I'm allowed to be happy. Like happiness was something I'd been denied, something owed to me. The affair started after the office holiday party in December. Too much wine, his hand on my lower back, the way he looked at me when he said, your husband's an idiot if he doesn't see how incredible you are. We went back to his apartment. I remember standing in his doorway, keys in my hand, knowing exactly what would happen if I walked inside. I thought about David. About the kids. And then I thought, just this once. Just to feel wanted again. It doesn't mean anything. I walked in. That phrase became my mantra. It doesn't mean anything. When we started meeting twice a week at lunch hour, finding empty conference rooms or his car. It doesn't mean anything. When I come home and kiss David on the cheek and help our daughter with her homework like nothing had changed. It doesn't mean anything. But everything had changed. I'd changed. I became someone I didn't recognize. I'd snap at the kids for no reason, then feel guilty and overcompensate with treats and extra screen time. I'd zone out during dinner, thinking about the text Marcus had sent. I stopped having sex with David, claiming I was tired, stressed, not feeling well. The lies piled up. Late meetings. Work dinners. A girls' night that was actually 3 hours in Marcus's bed. My son asked me once, "Mommy, are you mad at us?" "Of course not, baby," I'd said, hugging him. "Mommy's just busy with work." Another lie. I was busy, but not with work. I was busy destroying my family, one secret at a time. The red flags with Marcus were everywhere. I just refused to see them. He never wanted to meet on weekends. Never invited me to anything public. When I'd hint at something more serious, he'd change the subject or make a joke. "Let's just enjoy this," he'd say. No pressure. I told myself he was respecting my marriage. Giving me space. The truth? He didn't want anything real. I was convenient. Available. Married, so I wouldn't demand too much. But I convinced myself I was special to him. That we had this deep connection. That maybe, if I left David, we could actually be together. I started fantasizing about it. A new life. An apartment downtown. Someone who looked at me with desire instead of comfortable familiarity. Someone who didn't know me as just the mom or David's wife. I told Jessica I was thinking about asking for a divorce. She didn't try to talk me out of it. She said, "You only live once. Don't waste it being miserable." I wasn't miserable. That's what I realize now. I was bored, and I mistook boredom for misery. I had a good man who loved me, 2 healthy kids, a stable life. And I was ready to blow it all up for a fantasy. David found out 3 weeks ago. I'd gotten sloppy. Left my phone face up on the counter while I was putting our daughter to bed. Marcus had texted, "Can't stop thinking about yesterday. You're addictive." David saw it. I came downstairs and he was holding my phone, face completely blank. "Who's Marcus?" he asked. His voice was so calm it scared me more than if he'd been yelling. I could have lied. Could have said it was a misunderstanding, a joke, anything. But something in his eyes told me he already knew. Maybe he'd known for a while. "It's not what you think," I said. The most cliché sentence in the world. "What is it then, Sarah?" He set the phone down carefully. "Explain it to me." I couldn't. How do you explain betrayal? How do you explain that you traded your family for a few hours of feeling desired? "How long?" he asked. 3 months, I whispered. He nodded slowly, like I'd just confirmed something. "Do you love him?" "No." "David, no, it was just." I stopped. There was no just that would make this okay. "Just what? Just sex? Just attention? Just you deciding our marriage, our kids, weren't enough?" I started crying. "I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I'll end it right now, we can go to counseling, please." He held up his hand. "Stop. Just stop." Then he did something I'll never forget. He took a deep breath, pulled out his phone, and started texting. I watched him walk upstairs. Heard him in the kids' rooms. "David, what are you doing?" I followed him up. He was packing their overnight bags. Calm. Methodical. Extra clothes, toothbrushes, favorite toys. "David, please, can we just talk about this?" "We're done talking, Sarah. I'm taking the kids to my parents' house." "You can't just take them." He finally looked at me. Really looked at me. And I saw it. I wasn't his wife anymore. I was someone who'd hurt him, betrayed him, made a fool of him. "Watch me," he said quietly. He woke up the kids, told them they were having a sleepover at Grandma and Grandpa's house. Our daughter was excited. Our son looked confused, kept glancing between us. "Is Mommy coming?" he asked. "Not tonight, buddy," David said, his voice tight. I stood in the doorway of their rooms, watching my husband pack up our children, and I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. What could I say? Don't take them from me? I was the one who'd already left. When they walked out the door, our daughter waving goodbye like it was any other night, our son clutching his backpack with worried eyes, I finally found my voice. David, please. I love you. I love our family. I made a horrible mistake, but we can fix this. He stopped at the door. Didn't turn around. No, Sarah. We can't. Because the person I married wouldn't have done this. I don't know who you are anymore. And I don't think you do either. The door closed. I called Marcus. Texted him. Called again. He didn't answer until the next morning. Hey, sorry, was asleep. What's up? My husband found out, I said. He left with the kids. Marcus, I think he's going to divorce me. Silence on the other end. Then, wow. That's heavy. I'm really sorry. Can I see you? I just need someone right now. Another pause. Sarah, I think maybe we should cool things off for a bit. This is getting complicated. Complicated. That's what I was to him. Not the love of his life. Not worth fighting for. Just complicated. Wait, are you breaking up with me? We were never really together, were we? He said, and I could hear the discomfort in his voice. Look, you're great, but I'm not looking for all this drama. I think you need to focus on your family. My family. The one I destroyed for him. He hung up. Blocked my number. Blocked me on everything. I sat in my empty house, in the bed I'd shared with my husband, and I understood. I hadn't just lost David. I'd lost everything. My kids, my home, my dignity, my future. And the man I'd thrown it all away for couldn't get away from me fast enough. That's when I realized I didn't just cheat. I erased myself from my own life. It's been 3 months since that night. I wish I could tell you it got better. It didn't. David filed for divorce 2 weeks after he left. I got the papers at work, delivered by a process server who said my name too loud in the lobby. My coworkers stared. By the end of the day, everyone knew. Marcus avoided me completely. Started eating lunch at his desk, headphones on. Took a different route to the break room. When we had to be in the same meeting, he wouldn't make eye contact. The humiliation was suffocating. Jessica, my friend who told me I deserved happiness, who'd encouraged me to live my best life, stopped answering my calls. I found out through Instagram that she'd gone to lunch with David's sister. The caption, "Real recognizes real." Some people just aren't worth defending. She picked a side. Everyone did. And I wasn't the side anyone wanted to be on. David's lawyer was efficient. He wanted full custody with supervised visitation for me. Supervised. Like I was dangerous. His filing painted me as an unstable mother who'd prioritized an affair over her children's well-being. The worst part? He wasn't wrong. I got a lawyer. A woman who looked at me with barely concealed disgust as I explained what had happened. Did you conduct this affair in the marital home? She asked. No. Never. Any evidence of substance abuse? Neglecting the children? No, nothing like that. I was always there for them. I trailed off. How do you finish that sentence? You just had an affair, she said flatly. Mrs. Patterson, I'll be honest with you. In this state, infidelity matters. Especially when young children are involved. A judge will look at your choices and question your judgment. Your husband has a strong case. I thought about arguing. Saying it wasn't fair, that I was still a good mother. But was I? What kind of mother chooses a quickie in a conference room over being present for her kids? The first supervised visit was at a facility that smelled like cleaning products and sadness. A woman named Linda sat in the corner with a clipboard while I tried to play with my own children. My daughter ran to me, hugged my legs. Mommy. I missed you. At least she still wanted me. That was something. My son hung back. He's 7. Old enough to sense something was very wrong, even if he didn't understand what. Hey, buddy, I said, kneeling down. I missed you so much. He gave me a quick hug, then pulled away. Why can't you come home? Mommy and Daddy are figuring some things out, I said, hating how fake I sounded. That's what Daddy said. But why does it take so long? I didn't have an answer. Linda was watching, writing things down. Every word, every interaction, documented. We played with blocks for an hour. My daughter chattered away, but my son was quiet, withdrawn. When time was up, he asked, "Will you be at my soccer game on Saturday?" I looked at Linda. She shook her head slightly. Visitation schedule didn't include outside events yet. I can't make this one, sweetie, but I'll be at the next one, okay? You always say that now, he said quietly. That moment gutted me more than anything David had said or done. The divorce moved forward. David got the house. I couldn't afford it on my own anyway. He got primary custody. I got every other weekend, supervised for the first 6 months, until I could prove stability. I had to move. The house I'd helped pick out, the kitchen where I'd made birthday cakes and packed school lunches, the bedrooms I'd painted, none of it was mine anymore. I ended up in a 1-bedroom apartment 20 minutes away. Beige walls, cheap carpet, the kind of place you rent when your life has fallen apart. I couldn't afford a 2-bedroom. My kids would have to share the pull-out couch when they stayed over. If they ever stayed over. Work became unbearable. People knew. They'd get quiet when I walked into the break room. I'd hear whispers, feel eyes on me. The woman from HR called me in for a chat about maintaining professional boundaries. We've received some concerns, she said carefully. About relationships between coworkers. We want to make sure everyone feels comfortable. I understand, I said. Translation: stop making everyone uncomfortable with your presence. Marcus put in for a transfer. Got it within a month. His last day, he walked past my desk without saying goodbye. I destroyed my marriage for someone who couldn't leave fast enough. My parents were the hardest. My dad wouldn't talk to me for 3 weeks. When he finally did, he said, "I raised you better than this, Sarah." My mom cried. "What were you thinking? You had everything?" "I know," I whispered. "I don't know what I was thinking. Those poor babies. And David, he's such a good man. How could you do this to him?" I had no answer. How could I explain that I'd felt invisible, bored, unappreciated, when I'd had everything that mattered? When people would kill for a stable marriage and healthy kids. They let me move into their guest room after I lost the apartment lease. I'm 32 years old, sleeping in my childhood bedroom, with Winnie the Pooh wallpaper I keep meaning to peel off. David started dating someone. I found out through mutual friends who still talk to me out of pity. Her name is Amanda. She's a teacher. Volunteers at the animal shelter. By all accounts, she's lovely. She's met my kids. That information broke something in me I didn't know could still break. Another woman reading bedtime stories to my daughter. Another woman helping my son with homework. Taking my place because I'd voluntarily stepped out of it. I tried to text David once. Late at night, after too much wine. "I miss you. I miss our life. I'm so sorry for everything." He responded the next morning, "Please don't contact me except about the kids. We're done, Sarah. Move on. Move on." Like 8 years and 2 children could just be deleted. Like I could just forget. But he'd forgotten me. That was clear. The supervised visits continued. My daughter still ran to me, still seemed happy to see me. My son was polite. Distant. Like I was an aunt he saw occasionally, not his mother. One visit, my daughter talked about Amanda. "She makes really good pancakes, Mommy. And she took us to the zoo. She's nice." I smiled. "That's great, sweetie." Inside, I was dying. My son said, "Dad's happier now." 7 years old, and he could see what I'd done. What I'd destroyed. "I'm glad he's happy," I managed. "Are you happy, Mom?" I looked at my son, this little person I'd grown and birthed and loved more than anything, and I couldn't lie. "I'm working on it, buddy." He nodded, but he looked sad. Kids know. They always know. I started therapy. Partly because the court required it, partly because I was drowning. My therapist asked hard questions. "What were you looking for in the affair?" "I don't know." "Excitement? Attention? To feel like myself again?" "And did you find it?" "For a while. Then I lost everything." "What would you tell your past self if you could?" I thought about that. What would I say to the woman standing in Marcus's doorway, keys in hand, about to walk in? I'd tell her that the feeling of being wanted isn't worth what you're about to lose. That boredom is temporary but betrayal is permanent. That the man you're about to cheat with will disappear the second things get real, but the man you're cheating on won't take you back. I'd tell her that her kids will remember this. That they'll never look at her the same way. That she's not just risking her marriage, she's destroying her entire life. Do you think she would have listened? I laughed bitterly. No. She thought she was different. Special. That it would work out somehow. And now? Now she knows better. But it's too late. The 6-month mark passed. Supervised visits ended. I was allowed to have the kids at my apartment every other weekend. The first weekend was awkward. My daughter adapted okay. She's 4. Everything's an adventure. My son walked through the apartment, looked at the pull-out couch, the small kitchen, the single bathroom. Where's your room, Mom? The bedroom. You guys will sleep out here. I got the really comfy pull-out. He nodded. Didn't complain. But I could see him comparing it to the house, to his room with his posters and toys, to everything I'd given up. That night, after they were asleep, I stood in my tiny apartment and cried. This was my life now. This was what I'd traded for a few stolen hours with someone who didn't even care about me. I tried dating once. A guy from a dating app. Dinner at a mid-tier restaurant. He asked about my kids, and I told him I had 2. Oh, joint custody? Sort of. Every other weekend. He must have seen something in my face because he asked, rough divorce? You could say that. Later, he asked why it ended. I could have lied. Blamed David. Said we grew apart. But I was tired of lying. I cheated, I said. His face changed. Oh. There was no second date. That's the thing they don't tell you about being the cheater. You become undateable. Even people with messy pasts judge you. Because everyone's been cheated on or knows someone who has. Everyone's felt that betrayal. And nobody wants to date someone capable of it. I'm alone. Completely, utterly alone. The friends who stuck around for a while eventually drifted. I was too depressing to be around. Too full of regret and self-pity. I don't blame them. Work is just a paycheck now. I do my job, keep my head down, go home. No more office friendships. No more lunches at anyone's desk. I learned my lesson there. My kids are adjusting to their new normal. Weekdays with Dad and Amanda. Every other weekend with Mom in her sad little apartment. Holidays get split. I got them for 6 hours on Christmas. 6 hours. My son's birthday is next month. He's having a party at the house. My house. Well, David's house now. He told me I could come for an hour, but Amanda will be there. I'll bring him cake and present some other time, I told David over text. He wants you there, Sarah. For an hour. Can you handle that? Can I handle watching my son blow out candles in the house I used to live in, with a woman who replaced me standing next to my ex-husband? Can I handle seeing my life continuing without me in it? I'll be there, I said. Because what choice do I have? Miss my son's birthday? Prove everyone right that I'm selfish and only care about myself? I'm trapped. Trapped in a life I created with my own terrible choices. People ask if I've learned anything. If I've grown. If I'm a different person now. I am. I'm smaller. Quieter. More careful. I've learned that some mistakes don't teach you lessons, they just destroy you. That you can be sorry and still lose everything. That there's no amount of regret that brings back what's gone. I've learned that the fantasy of being wanted is a lie. Marcus didn't want me. He wanted the ego boost, the excitement, the easy access. When things got complicated, he vanished. Because I was never a person to him. Just a distraction. I've learned that boredom in a marriage isn't a crisis. It's normal. It's what happens when you build a life with someone. The butterflies fade. The passion becomes comfortable. That doesn't mean it's over. It means it's real. But I didn't know that. I thought I was dying inside. I thought I deserved more. More what? More excitement? More attention? More validation from men who saw me as a conquest? What I had was more than enough. A man who came home to me every day. Kids who looked at me like I hung the moon. A life that was safe and stable and good. And I torched it. For what? For nothing. Last week, my daughter asked me when I was coming home. Baby, I can't come home. Mommy and Daddy don't live together anymore, remember? But why? Did you have a fight? How do you explain to a 4-year-old that Mommy made a choice that broke Daddy's heart? That some things can't be fixed with apologies? Something like that, sweetie. Amanda says you're still my mommy and I can love both of you. Amanda. Teaching my daughter about love and forgiveness while I sit in my apartment and rot in my regret. That's right, I managed. You can love both of us. But you'll love Amanda more, eventually. Because Amanda will be there. For school plays and skinned knees and bad dreams. Amanda will be the mom my kids remember when they think about their childhood. I'll be the every other weekend mom. The guilty one. The one who left. I see David sometimes at pickup or drop-off. He's polite. Distant. Treats me like an acquaintance. There's no anger anymore. That might be worse. Anger means you still feel something. He feels nothing. I'm a task on his to-do list. Drop off kids with Sarah. 6 p.m. Don't be late. Once, about a month ago, I broke down. Right there in the driveway, when he came to pick up the kids. I'm so sorry, David. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I need you to know how sorry I am. I destroyed everything. I know that. I hate myself for it. He looked at me with something like pity. I know you're sorry, Sarah. But sorry doesn't change anything. You made a choice. Now we're all living with it. Do you ever think? Could we ever? No, he said firmly. Never. That person I married? She's gone. And I've moved on. You should too. He got in the car with our kids and drove away. I stood in that driveway until the neighbors started staring. There are moments, late at night, when I let myself imagine a different timeline. One where I didn't walk into Marcus's apartment. Where I went home instead, kissed my husband, and decided to work on my marriage instead of destroying it. In that timeline, I'm still a wife. Still a full-time mom. Still have my house, my friends, my life. In that timeline, my kids don't divide their time between 2 homes. They don't have to pack bags and remember which toys are at which house. They don't have a stepmom who makes really good pancakes. But that's not my timeline. Mine is this: an apartment I can barely afford, kids who are slipping away from me, an ex-husband who looks through me like I'm glass, and a loneliness so deep I sometimes forget what it felt like to be loved. I'm not writing this for redemption. I don't deserve that. I'm writing it because somewhere out there is a woman like me. Bored. Feeling unseen. Thinking about that charming coworker or that guy from the gym who makes her feel alive again. I'm writing this so maybe she'll read it and see what I couldn't, that feeling alive for a moment isn't worth dying inside forever. If you're reading this and thinking about cheating, understand this clearly: the moment you do, the life you know is already over. You just haven't felt it yet. The guilt, the shame, the loss, it's all waiting on the other side of that choice. And once you cross that line, there's no coming back. No amount of sorry will rebuild trust. No amount of tears will bring back the person who loved you. You'll lose them. You'll lose your kids' respect. You'll lose your friends. You'll lose yourself. And the person you're doing it for? They'll be gone before the dust settles. I thought cheating would make me feel alive. Instead, I'm just existing. Watching my old life continue without me. Seeing my kids grow up in photos on David's Facebook. Learning about their milestones secondhand. I'm a ghost haunting my own former life. And there's no coming back from that. If I could go back and shake that woman standing in Marcus's doorway, I would scream at her: the boredom you feel isn't emptiness. It's stability. It's safety. It's love that's grown roots. Don't mistake comfort for complacency. Don't throw away real for fantasy. But I can't go back. None of us can. So I live with it. Every day. Every supervised visit. Every "Mom, when are you coming home?" Every time my son looks at me with disappointment. Every time my daughter mentions Amanda. This is my forever now. And I did this to myself. So if you're standing where I stood, keys in hand, decision ahead of you, please, I'm begging you, turn around. Go home. Fight for what you have instead of destroying it for what you think you want. Because what you think you want is a lie. And what you have, you won't know its value until it's gone. Trust me. I know.